Thank you for joining us. No matter where you are in the world, we are grateful that you are here in community with us today. As a reminder, each day is an opportunity to make a meaningful change. We come together for inspiration, education, and especially celebration. All this month, we are learning how we belong in family, in community, and ourselves. So join me in getting started by putting your hands together for the CSL Dallas music team.
All right, yes, you can stand up. Good morning. I live in the spirit of love. In the spirit of love. I live in the spirit of love. In the spirit of love. I live in the spirit of love. Because love lives in me. I move in the spirit of love. In the spirit of love. I move in the spirit of love. In the spirit of love. I move in the spirit of love. Because love moves in me. I reach out in the spirit of love. In the spirit of love. I reach out in the spirit of love. In the spirit of love. I reach out in the spirit of love. Because love reaches out through me. Let's do some healing. I heal in the spirit of love. In the spirit of love. Oh, I heal in the spirit of love. In the spirit of love. I heal in the spirit of love. Because love heals through me. We're free in the spirit of love. In the spirit of love. We're free in the spirit of love. In the spirit of love. Yeah, we're free in the spirit of love. Because love set us free. Let's do that again. Because love sets us free. Because love sets us free. It sets us free. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to CSL Dallas. My name is Michael Brundy, and I have the privilege of being your platform assistant this morning. So, let's begin by reading our purpose statement together. We are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives, and so it is. Hey, you can use spiritual truth to heal your body. Are you tired of dealing with chronic pain or ongoing illness? And are you ready to heal it? In this Thursday sacred healing space, we focus on becoming aware, learning, and applying spiritual insight that is available to us by consciously engaging with our pain and disease. In this session, we explore the mind and body connection and invite what is in our consciousness to reveal itself to be healed. It's going to be led by Dr. Petra, who has a significant personal stories to share and deep commitment to your physical healing. There'll be a love offering that'll be appreciated, and that's going to be this Thursday, February 15th, from 7 to 8:30 p.m., in person and online. Now, I need to bring up Janice Cook. She's going to talk to you guys about divine dining. Come on, Janice.
Good morning, CSL Dallas. So I am Janice Cook, and I have the honor of being the team lead for this year's Divine Dining. We are bringing it back, y'all. I'm excited. You know, I'm excited most of the time anyway, if you ever see me at the back door, but I'm really excited about this. Divine Dining is a way for our community to get together in each other's homes or a restaurant or wherever you want to get together and have food and conversation and fellowship with each other away from the center. I think that's important, right, that we get to know each other more personally. And so this year's Divine Dining is a new opportunity for us to do that. So Dr. Petra told you about it last week, and you probably have seen the posters around the center so that you can just click on the QR code for you people that love to host. I know that there are some of you in here that love to host. What you'll get an opportunity to do is decide what kind of theme you want, what you want to do. People have done all kinds of things. I'm going to do two this year. I'm going to do a virtual one. Yes, we're going to do virtual this year, some virtual, because we have a large virtual community. We want them to be, we say we're radically inclusive, let's be that. Yes? And I'm going to have a doggy dinner. I have 3 big dogs and concrete floors. So it's really safe for people to bring their big dogs to our house. We'll do it in the summertime when the dogs can run outside and run inside and pee and poop and whatever they do. and we'll eat and have fun, and it'll be great, right? It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. It doesn't have to be a lot of money that the host spends. This is just an opportunity for us to get together. So February is host month. Now, I know you've seen the little QR codes, and you pass by it going, I don't know what I would do. Well, I had some printed out for you, so you could take it home and think about it, and click the QR code from home. Tell us what you want to do, how many people you can host. We will help you fluff out your idea if you want. And next month, we'll make a catalog so that in April, our community will have a catalog to choose from what dinner or dinners they want to attend. And then from May to November, we're just going to eat, right? We're just going to eat. We're going to eat for 6 months with each other. It's going to be great. So I have a table over there. And anybody that wants to be on the Divine Dining team, I'm really not good with tech, but I am so grateful for the people that are, because they are just like rocking it for me, right? And helping put together flyers and all the stuff that we need. We're going to do an online bidding platform that will let you know when you've been outbid so that you can bid again. All of the money comes back to the center. It's just such a great opportunity for us to be a part of growing this community and for us to get better acquainted with each other. That's really the point, I think, for us to just be with each other. So look for me outside. If you come in Pankey Hall, you will see me with a pen or a flyer for you to click on. And I hope that everybody that wants to host an event. If you don't know, if you think you might want to host, but you're not sure, I even have a potential list over there. I'll call you. We could talk about what speaks to your heart and what you'd like to do, and I'll help you figure it out. So this is going to be a blast, guys. I know that this is going to be maybe the best one ever. Yes? Best one ever. So thank you.
Okay. Did anybody else catch that that was Janice Cook talking about food? Nobody else caught that one? Yeah, Janice Cook was talking about food. Next year, I hope that we have divine exercising, because all this year of divine eating, you guys are going to need some divine exercising, okay? So somebody think that one up next year, okay? Meanwhile, everyone is invited to our annual meeting and Sacred Service Award and our community engagement potluck next Sunday. It will be both in person and online. Our community engagement is focused on reimagining the use of our campus, and it's an important conversation for us to have. If you are interested in knowing what's going on, giving your input, and celebrating CSL Dallas, plan to attend. We'll have protein and drinks, and you can bring a side or a dessert. It's all going to be next Sunday, noon to 2:30. And guys, if you haven't been around here, this is a big deal for us. So you want to show up for this no matter what, okay? You get to eat, you know, everything that's going on around here, and then you don't have to go through the gossip. You hear it firsthand, okay? Plus, you get a chance to see all the people who give away awards and who get awards, okay? And I'll be here to give away an award. So anyway, however you found us, guys, we are glad that you are here. You are welcome, whether you're with us in person or online. We'd love to have you stay in touch with us, so you can do that by following us on social media. You can leave us a Google review, and you can sign up for our weekly newsletter and inspirational text by filling out the Connect card from the link in the chat or at the welcome table that's on campus. That way you can stay connected and know everything that's happening in CSL Dallas. Now let's settle into this morning with our music team, and as we go to within with Dr. Tracy Brown.
I am willing to open my heart. I am willing to be the change I wish to see. And I know that it's all love, 'cause I am willing to listen to the still small voice in me. I am willing to open my mind, I am willing to be the change I wish to see. And I know that it's all good, 'cause I am willing to listen to the still small voice in me.
Take a breath. And use that breath as a step into the willingness to open your mind, to open your heart, to know and to listen to that still, small, quiet, powerful, meaningful voice that is deep, deep within. Join me in prayer. Taking a moment to honor the festivity and the tradition of Lunar New Year this weekend.
taking another breath and accepting the readiness of the joy and the festivities of a major game weekend. Taking a breath and recognizing that right here, right now is the perfect lead into a week focused on love and relationship. All of it is just an opportunity for us to breathe together and know together and remember together that life is lifing right here, right now, as each one of us present and as everything that is happening in nature right here, right now. The rain, the wind blowing, the mountains, the sun rising, the sun setting, all of it is simply the reminder that there is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. And that life is my life, your life, our life right now. So we come together in celebration this Sunday, celebrating our commitment to create an environment where belonging is the experience for everyone, in our sanctuary, in our hearts, and throughout the world. So if you, like me, are smiling because of this opportunity, and if you, like me, have the willingness to be an agent for change and love in the world, then I invite you to say after me, Ashe, Aho, Amen, Amun, Abracadabra. And so it is.
I am willing to open my mind. I am willing to be the change I wish to see. And I know that it's all good, 'cause I am willing to listen to the still small voice in me. I am willing to open my life. I am willing to be the change I wish to see. And I know that I can trust. I can trust, 'cause I am willing to listen to the still small voice in me. Yes, I am willing to listen to the still small voice in me.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please keep showing that love for Reverend Kent Holmes, who wrote all this.
Thank you so much.
Amen, girl.
You ready?
Go on, kick it off.
1,
We've been
2,
practicing.
1,
Come on,
2,
choir.
3, 4. Yes, let's do it. You know this. Get up on your feet. Ooh, yeah.
her beautiful music out in Pankey Hall afterwards. We love, love, love having you here with us.
Thank you so very much. Get in there right here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our children will do what we do, not as we say. We gotta give them a good foundation and let them build on it in their own way. We gotta reach out and listen and love. Let them know they're gonna make it, even though it might get tough. Mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, it goes on. See the best in them as they're questioning. It goes on and on and on and on. Our parents might judge what we do as we make our own way. We gotta give them all forgiveness. They're doing the best they can every day. We gotta reach out and listen and love. They got so much to teach us. Let that be enough. Mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, it goes on. See the best in them as they're questioning. It goes on and on and on. The silver thread, the book of life. Choose whatever metaphor you like. This crazy old planet keeps spinning round the sun. It goes on. Mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, it goes on. See the best in them as they're questioning. It goes on and on and on. On and on and on. It goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on. Last time.
Beautiful. Thank you, Reverend Kit and Jonathan and Matt. Thank you on Brad for wailing away on that piano. So much fun. And to our fabulously wonderful music team. I love that song, and I thought that was so amazing. That is what I think when I look at my son and I look at my granddaughter. And I'm sure that, so the people who ask me, why do I have this? I said, I'll tell the story all at once. Speaking of children and grandchildren, so we had the pleasure of having Aria for the Friday and Saturday. It was so much fun. Actually, she came to us, can't remember now, Thursday night or Friday morning. I can't even remember. Thursday, I think. And so it was a little chaotic. And so we had a fabulous opportunity to remember that you don't need toys that you buy at the store, right? So we had crowns, and we were, I don't know, I think I was Elsa and she was Anna, and Karen was the king, and we were playing all morning, and then it got a little wound up, and she didn't really want to do anything. So we decided that we would go on a sleigh ride to the Enchanted Forest. And because Karen had got us a wagon, basically, one of those fold-up wagons, so we could take her places and do fun things with her. And it's about a mile walk to the little trail that we've taken her on before. And so, we carted her over there, and we were on the trail and in the Enchanted Forest, because, that's what you do when you're Anna and Elsa. You go to the Enchanted Forest. And we went down, have beautiful steps to the river, and played. And all of a sudden, it was so amazing. There was this moment of peace. And she was just throwing rocks in the water and hearing the rippling. And the next thing I know, she's taken a stick. She's put it in the water, and she's drawing designs on the rocks. And then they would dry. Then she would put her stick in again and draw more designs. And pretty soon she was drawing designs for me, and I was drawing designs for her. And then we had to throw the rock in to make a wish. You know how these things unfold, right? I mean, it was this magical moment. And it really, all this peace. And so we went on the rest of our walk, and, you always have to play games. So then Karen and I were cat burglar. We were taking turns being cat burglar, and she was super kitty. And cat burglar had to be chased, and she would be behind. No, run faster, I'm chasing you. It's pretty funny. But she's tired of being chased. She now wants to be the one to do the chasing, right? And so we were coming towards the end of the walk, and she was chasing me, and I was running, and I was, and I couldn't tell whether she was getting closer or not. So, of course, I looked over my shoulder, and I stepped right on the edge of the path that had about this much of a drop. And so I went down, and it broke my collarbone. Ouch, yes. It wasn't until the next day that I actually discovered that I actually have a pretty good scrape on my arm, and I went actually down on my knees as well, which, of course, none of that hurt at the time. And so I knew instantly, I felt it, I heard it, I sat up, and I said I broke my collarbone. So they, of course, brought in 911, which was kind of cool. She was a little freaked out, but she sat in the little wagon and, talked to her. This is what your daddy does. He comes like this, and he helps people just like this. And so they carted me off to the hospital and to the emergency room. And, of course, we were a mile away from the house, so sure got to ride in the fire truck back. And they dropped her off, dropped Karen off at our place so that they could come and meet me. The unfortunate thing is that when you break your collarbone, there isn't anything they can do about that. So they say, here's your sling, bye. So that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. No. So that's what's going on. That was a Friday late afternoon. Yesterday was a little challenging because she couldn't understand why she couldn't fling her arms around me and hug my neck like she's used to doing. And every time I had to keep her from doing that, it was stressful. It was stressful. And then she would I could watch her draw into herself and move away because she wasn't getting from me, right, what she was expecting, what she has always gotten from me. And I kept trying to explain to her, see, I have this. I broke my collarbone. It's right here. And she was really struggling to understand that. And I noticed, Kit, with your song, right? Oh, you're right here. Sorry. Kit, with your song, these are the things, right, that get passed down generation to generation. What do they say? The sins of the father to the seventh generation. Not because the dad's bad or really sinful, but because we do learn from our family. We learn from our childhood. We learn from the ways in which we behave or the things that we teach. I don't know how many of you remember the song from, I think it's from South Pacific. You have to be carefully taught. Okay, now we're all showing our age, right? So those of you who don't know that, go look it up. If you're, under a certain age, whatever age that is, you have to be carefully taught. Children have to be taught. And they have to be taught to hate and fear. But they also have to be taught how to be appropriately engaged with life. And so one of the things that I notice is that I can tell the difference between children whose parents are teaching them things and children whose parents are punishing them for something that they have no way of knowing. So I watch a lot of kids get punished for whining and being bratty, right? With Jason, with my son, and now with Aria, I just say to her, that tone of voice just isn't going to get you anything. So let's just use our normal tone of voice. Ask me what you want. Tell me what you need. Just say. And then I noticed that she started screeching, like screeching. I'm not kidding. I'm using that word advisedly when she didn't want to do something. And I don't know what has precipitated that. She hasn't really done that before. And so I said to her, you don't need to do that. You can just say no, thank you. You can just say no, thank you. Do you want to play this? Should we change our game? Shall we, you just can say no, thank you. And she looked at me and she said, oh, I could just say no, thank you. Well, yeah, you could. Now that's also assuming that the person you're saying no, thank you to is grown up enough or healthy enough to respond. And I said to her, you're a kid. There are some things you actually can't say no to, like using the bathroom, going to bed, eating, right? There are certain things you can't say no to, but there's lots of things that you can. And the more that you can say that just calmly and collectedly, the more that you can say that, the more people can hear that no, you don't want to do that. I was not taught that. I had to learn that the hard way. I had to learn to pay attention to my tone of voice, which I am more or less good at. I had to learn not to use my father's way of getting people to do what they want, what he wanted them to do, which was basically through fear and rage. Right? We all have to learn these things. And we learn them by osmosis in our families, and then we have to either unlearn them or we have to find other ways of doing it. So today, since we're coming up to Valentine's Day, we are talking about relationships, primarily significant relationships, family relationships, the places where this all gets played out. And so the title is Projection and Other Relationship Disasters. Now, if you have like a few days, I have a lot to say about this, having a whole boatload of experience in relationship disasters. And yet these are some things that we watch people do. We watch our family do. We watch our older siblings do. We watch it on television. Most relationships, basically, it's just never-ending soap opera. We actually have to begin to learn how to break the chain, break the ongoing habitual ways of behaving and responding. And of course, that's right up in alignment with our spiritual teachings, that we can shift our consciousness, we can shift the way we see things, which then means we shift the way we do them. January was all about, intellectually understanding our teaching. Last Sunday, we did a deep heart-centered that we belong. This one is really about our psyche, right? Because remember, we're a wholeness, spirit, soul, and body. And I love that you said that, Michael. After all that eating, we're going to have divine exercise, right? Because we're spirit, soul, and body. Things get lodged in our bodies, that are beliefs that we have, that are reactions that we have. And we work at our awakening and our spiritual life. We work at it at every level. We don't say, oh, we're only doing it spiritually, or we're only doing it psychologically, or we're only doing it physically through energy healing or those kinds of things. Right? They all have to work in tandem. So these things, so the two things we're going to talk about today are the projection and the ladder of inference. And these two things are some of the most, they capture some of the most disconcerting behaviors that we do in relationship that actually doesn't serve us, right? Oh, you know, let me just speak for myself, from which I have made many messes. And what we want to do actually is to engage consciously. Well, the only way to engage consciously is to understand what's going on, being able to take that moment, right? Deepak Chopra calls it the gap, that gap between stimulus and response. And we activate that gap with our meditation practice, with our mindfulness, with journaling, with other sacred opportunities that we have. We activate that gap. We activate our ability to live in the gap long enough that we can actually perceive what's going on. We can perceive what's going on for someone else, for ourselves. We can perceive what's going on in the middle of the engagement. And what happens in the gap when we can perceive? We can choose, right? We can choose. We can choose to take a breath. We can choose to count to 10. We can choose to go, wait, this isn't how I want to show up. We can choose, oh my God, here I am, right down the slippery slope. Here I go, watch me go. Oh gosh, I wish I hadn't gone. And then of course we can clean it up or whatever it is. But it is that ability to understand what's going on. And one of the most challenging things, I think, in this portion of our spiritual practice and our spiritual growth is we say we want to take responsibility. Actually, we say radical responsibility. That means we take responsibility for what's going on in front of us, how we might have participated in creating it, and how we're participating in responding to it, right? Radical responsibility. But the key is to take radical responsibility without shame or blame. Most of us, when we take responsibility, we go, oh God, I can't believe I did that. Oh, I'm such a... Or, well, why did you do that? I didn't do that, right? Radical responsibility has no feeling tone to it. Let me say that again. Radical responsibility has no feeling tone to it. It has awareness. That's the difference between radical responsibility and shame and blame. Shame and blame have all the feeling tones with it, right? We either want to shrink or we want to attack. Shame and blame. Radical responsibility, oh, here's what is. Oh, I remember this pattern. Oh, I can see what's going on. Oh, that's not how I want to respond. Wait. Could we have a do-over? Let me start that sentence again. Let me try this a different way, right? All of those things are how we interrupt the pattern so we can begin to develop new ones. And our spiritual practices are as effective in this area of our life as they are in our spiritual awareness and our ability to experience oneness and feel peace and all of those kinds of things. But we have to bring them in to the very life experience that we're having. It's not just about going away and then, oh, I'm just going to be peaceful, right? We actually have to use them in the engagement in our lives. So, having been at the emergency room and on drugs and at home, I don't have quite as many stories as I would normally have. Because while I had prepared the talk, so we're going to try not to have it be overly serious, okay? But we're just bear with me, because these are actually really important things. So projection is one of the most common things that we do when we are unaware, and it's an unconscious defense mechanism, right? And I know all of you have heard this. When you point your finger at somebody, what's happening? 3 fingers are pointing back. Crap. Now, this is true when we are unconscious, when we are on autopilot. It's not true when we're having a clear, clean conversation with someone, which we're going to talk about in the ladder of inference. When we can stick with observable behavior, talk about what our feelings and needs are, and ask for what we want. That's basically the structure of nonviolent communication. When we can do that, we're not in projection, we're actually having a clear conversation. But when we're on autopilot and we're simply reacting to what's going on, projection is one of the most common unconscious defense mechanisms. Just as an aside, if I accuse you of always blaming me, always making me feel wrong, right, and three are pointing back, I could just as easily accuse you of being, you're so damn creative. What's happening? Three of them are pointing back. This is where Carl Jung says, he calls this the golden shadow. The golden shadow the shadow is our disowned selves, and we disown our light as much as we disown the patterns from our childhood that we don't like, that cause us to feel shame or blame, right? So when you find yourself gushing over other people or other things that you see, remember that there's something within you that can see it. Do you see? Or you wouldn't notice. The same reason you notice all those crappy things you want to point your finger at about people, right? Goes both ways. All right. So projection is an unconscious defense mechanism, and there are ways that we can see projection either in someone else or in ourselves. Now, the most important thing I want to say here is that we are not the consciousness police. So we're not about other people's projections. Why are you projecting on me? You shouldn't be projecting on me, right? That's called being the consciousness police. When we can observe or notice and feel or sense that somebody's projecting on us, what we can do is sidestep and not engage. So we do want to be able to sense it, but it's not about making them wrong. Because as important as it is to sense if somebody else is projecting on us, it's as equally as important to recognize when we are projecting on someone else. And of course, you know how it goes, right? It's usually going both ways at the same time. You'll also notice how interestingly similar they are when we are in this projection experience. So the first two things that you'll notice is that the other person has exaggerated reactions. When the anger or fear or hostility or blame that is coming back seems out of proportion with the thing. And of course, we do the same thing. When we're excessively sensitive, I would call this when we take things overly personal, right? We can use that as a key that we might actually be in this projection experience. And when we feel as though we are being unwarrantedly blamed. Now, be careful that we're not shirking our responsibility, but when we are being unwarrantingly blamed, or when we are quick to blame. Well, you did. Well, you said, but I never do that. I'm sure none of us ever do that, right? And so we can't take radical responsibility if we immediately go into the blame. Well, this is what you did, and this is what happened. You did, you. So the next two things are when you see that there's a lot of negative language being used in the way it's being described. When somebody is describing to you what you do in very loaded, we would call that emotionally loaded language. I had somebody come at me the other day around climate change. It was in an email, and the email was, and I don't appreciate that doomsday apocalyptics bullshit about climate change. Can you hear the loaded language? Right? It's like, So I wrote back and said, well, I'm sure that we disagree on this issue, but I do expect that we'll be able to disagree respectfully. That was my response. Right? Because Yeah, because I could feel that negative language, that there was something obviously much larger going on. Plus, it was an unwarranted reaction, an exaggerated reaction to the sentence that I had said in the course of an email talking about our property up in New Hampshire. On the other hand, we want to be careful that we're not being defensive to feedback. Can we hear feedback even if it has some negative language in it, or are we just going to shut it down? Which means we have a lack of objectivity, right? And so when we're in our projections, we have a lack of objectivity. And of course, we can experience from other people this defensive reaction or emotional intensity. Projections have everything to do with being out of alignment with what's actually going on. Does that make sense? So we actually have to be able to take that moment in the gap to see what's really going on, to feel into where am I coming from? Oh, what do I think is really going on here? Not my psychoanalysis of it, but we're going to talk about it in the ladder of inference. What is the observable behavior? What's really going on is always observable behavior. It's not our feelings, it's not our gut reaction, it's not our intuition. What's really going on always starts with observable behavior, which is what keeps us a little bit more objective, a little bit less defensive, and a little bit more able to engage appropriately. And finally, we recognize that in another person, they might have a lack of self-awareness about what's going on, which also means we might be doing the same. So if we are escaping and avoiding conversations or the unpleasantness of it, and in that lack of self-awareness, we might be experiencing a distorted reality. Well, you said, when in fact I didn't say anything of the sort. You meant, when in fact I didn't mean anything of the sort. Right? But again, if we get hooked, I did not. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. Sorry to say that does still occasionally happen in our household. And we both go, wait, stop. What are we, 5? But you have to stop, right? You have to stop and notice these reoccurring patterns. Okay, and finally, the last thing is we recognize when somebody is constantly shifting responsibility or feeling victimized, which we do the same. We want to shift responsibility or we feel victimized. Because when we're doing that, we're not in our adult self, right? Aria can't be in her adult self. I've actually had a parent say to me one time, talking about their 8-year-old child, and this big brouhaha that had been going on, and the talking back, and the da-da-da-da, whatever all it was, this was years ago, and the parent said, I just don't understand why he can't behave like an adult. I am not kidding you, those words came out of that person's mouth. Right? So then we get to ask ourselves, this could be one of the most powerful questions when we find ourselves in these kinds of loops, is to ask ourselves, how old am I right now? I have a 4-year-old, I have an 8-year-old, and I have the brattiest 12-year-old you have ever met. But if I can ask myself in that moment, okay, wait, how old am I right now? I am clearly not in my spiritual truth, right? When we're being all those things, either any one of them. It's a super useful question to ask ourselves. And when we can identify that, another really useful question we can ask ourselves is, when is the first time I felt this way? How is this a pattern from my childhood? Because I promise you it is. As really as much as we'd like it to be about the other person, they have their part in it, of course, but we're not the consciousness police. We're in our own lane. We got to clean up our own side of the street. They have to take care of their side of the street, right? We have to clean up our own side of the street. And so it's a really useful question to ask. When did I first feel this way? When did I first see this kind of behavior? Where might I have learned this? And it helps us overcome our selective memory and our toxic amnesia. When we take responsibility, when we say we're taking responsibility, when in fact what we're doing is falling into blame. Or we say we're being objective, but when in fact what we're doing is talking about our feelings or intuition, neither which of are actually objective. Right? And so these are just really powerfully important things to think about and to notice, right? It's not necessarily the whole laundry list. We could be doing any one of these things and realizing, oh wait, I'm actually projecting onto someone else. And what am I projecting on? What am I projecting? I'm projecting my own feelings that I don't want to feel. My own behaviors that I don't want to look at. This is why it's called the shadow. And it comes around on the outside and it gets played out here as if it were out there. And it takes an enormous amount of willingness. And again, no shame, no blame. Every person in this room does it. Every person on the planet does this. There's nobody who doesn't do this, right? So these are all ways in which we learned how to behave that don't really help. So the opening is to be self-aware and to remember that we belong in the universe. We belong in our lives. We're not a mistake. I remember when I was first in the Science of Mind years ago, somebody made a little poster that says, God don't make no junk. And do you know that every time you diss yourself, you're disrespecting the infinite? Every time you shrink into your own shame, you're disrespecting the truth of who you are. You belong in your life. Yeah. And we're here to learn and grow and be the best that we could be, mess and all. Nobody said it wasn't going to be messy. It's the moment of awareness, awakening, and then choice. Now, what helps us see this is this wonderful thing called the ladder of inference. And I love this little thing. We're going to go through it reasonably quickly. It's another way of thinking about how we can find ourselves in the midst of a problem with someone, and you wonder, how the hell did we get here? Like you were talking about ice cream, going out for ice cream, and the next thing you know, you're like, and how does that happen? So the ladder of inference actually comes out of organizational design and Peter Senge's work, but it is incredibly valuable in any of our relationships. And it's literally like we're climbing a ladder. The ladder of inference is built on the mental models that we have. It's the way in which we construct how we understand life works. And where do you think we got those mental models? Anybody? Growing up, of course, this is how it works. All women are, families are, money is, all of that stuff, a mental model about how life works. And those mental models help us we learn leaping to assumptions and we learn jumping to conclusions because we're projecting. So projection is what we do with our mental models. We take up our mental model and we project it onto the world. We talk about this. If you're taking classes with us this year, you will hear we talk about this as our filters, right? Our false beliefs and the ideas through which we filter life. That's how we perceive it, and then we project it back onto life. Right? That's the piece that is that we're trying to illuminate here, the way we project it back on to what's going on. So our mental models provide a construct through which we jump to conclusions and leap to assumptions. And then, like this poor little sheep, we get stuck, right? This is actually an actual place in Norway, and you can go stand on that rock and to have your picture taken. I don't know, it feels like being between a rock and a hard place, right? Not sure I necessarily want to spend any time there. Okay, so our ladder of inference. Our ladder of inference begins with objective facts. Objective facts or reality. When you said, I don't like this soup, that is an objective fact, yes? When you said, I don't like this soup, man, you just never like any of my cooking. Wait, that second part, that was not an objective fact. Do you see? An objective fact. And all nonviolent communication starts with objective facts. We had an agreement that it would be done by such and such a time. We said that we would do this next Thursday, right? Objective facts. The ladder of inference begins with what is going on. And that's like right here in the room, actually what's going on. The second thing is, what happens is we select facts out of what's actually going on. This selected information is what our filters do and our mental models do. Because as you know, we're getting 8 million bits of information every second or whatever the ridiculous number is, and we cannot possibly engage with it. You're filtering out the noise of the air conditioning right now. You're filtering out the lights. You're filtering out the people behind you that are shuffling. You're filtering out a whole boatload of stuff. There's a whole boatload of stuff you're not filtering out, like whether or not you want to watch the Super Bowl later today, and when is this talk ever going to end, and what is she talking about anyway? Those things, right? But our we select facts out of what's going on. Did you hear that some of those facts actually aren't in the room? They're actually going on in my own head. Could she ever stop talking? This is so, I just don't even know, right? That's actually going on in our own head. And we use our mental models to select out of this plethora, which is why sometimes somebody will say, I don't like the soup, or they'll say, I like the soup, and you'll respond, what, don't you like the soup? Because you didn't select the fact that says, I like the soup. You selected a belief that somebody doesn't like your cooking. Do you see? So objective facts are going on, and then we select facts out of it. And so then we make meaning out of it. And this is where well, I see that you don't like my soup, you don't like my cooking. We make meaning. We interpret the reality based on the selected information. And usually, that's where it starts going false. First of all, we've only selected a piece of the information, usually the piece that corroborates our false belief. And then we make meaning out of it, which is the experiences that we've had before, or something that it aligns up with the false ideas about who we are and how life works. And so out of making meaning, we make assumptions. These assumptions are made from our interpretive reality. My assumption is that no matter how many times I make soup for you, or no matter how much I cook for you, you still don't like it. Well, you didn't like one thing 5 months ago, so therefore you don't like my cooking, right? Right? I mean, I just pulling something out of the air, an idea that we have, and we make assumptions. And out of those assumptions, we draw conclusions. I am a lousy cook. Nobody likes my cooking. I'm going to go eat worms. Never going to bring anything to the potluck because everybody else's food will be better than mine. Do you see? Right? We've just run right up the ladder of inference. And then that causes us to have beliefs about it. I am a lousy cook, and therefore I am never going to bring something to a potluck. Do you see? Boom, 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 boom. And this happens in a nanosecond. You can run up that ladder of inference so fast. Okay, let me just speak for myself. Right? That's why they call it jumping to conclusions, leaping to assumptions. And what happens is our beliefs reinforce the selected facts, our selection of facts that we are going to select the next time. So over and over and over again, what we want to do is we want the pieces here that can really help. A, do I really have to make meaning out of this? Is there really a meaning here? Do I have to make meaning? That's one place we begin to project. We project our beliefs and our false ideas about life onto the situation. Assumptions. Karen and I have an absolute fundamental assumption that we have reaffirmed for each other over and over and over again, especially after we've had some kind of a go around. And the assumption is we are always on each other's side. How often do we not assume that about the person? We assume they're, trying to weasel out of it, or they're not taking responsibility, or they want to blame us, or blah, 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 whatever it is, right? So stopping and thinking about the meaning we're making out of it, questioning the assumptions we're making, and then questioning the conclusions that come from that very rapid fire response that we have to what's going on. Do you see? Sounds like hard work, doesn't it? Ooh, it is. It is. I won't lie to you. It's hard work. But it is not impossible. How do we heal these patterns? Well, as I have been saying before, you go to classes. You be in a sangha, you be in a circle, you hang around with like-minded people who are trying to do the work like you are, who can help you. You can help each other. You can talk about it. Oh man, I got caught in it. Last night, last week, last month, I got caught in it. Help me understand. Where did I make meaning? Where did I make an assumption? Where did I make a conclusion? Oh, I see, right? Our trusted spiritual support, our community. That's why we do this work together in community, because it gives us people that maybe won't just run down the road or jump up that ladder of inference with us, but can hold that more objective spiritual space in which we can do the exploration. Heal the patterns. Number one, self-awareness. Absolutely the single biggest key. And of course, all of our spiritual practices are designed to help us do that. Every class talks about self-awareness. If you haven't been in classes, come to my Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life class at the end of the month. It's an introduction to this. And fundamental to spiritual work is a willingness to be self-aware, both of the self with a capital S, the spiritual truth, and the self with a small s, the psychic construct that we have. Compassion. Oh man, let us learn compassion for ourselves and others, because just as much as we run up and down the ladder of inference or project, so do other people. They're no better or worse than we are. We're no better or worse than they are. So I'm a huge, huge believer, not so much in self-love or self-acceptance. I'm a believer in self-compassion. Because when we can have compassion for ourselves, that means we can look at the BS that we do without shame or blame. Without shame or blame. And we can then hold someone else in that same space. Meditation, mindfulness, these are all practices that help us find that gap so that we can respond in the moment from a different place. And finally, to know who we really are, right? That's why we spend so much time remembering that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And there is that within us that can make a new choice, build a new habit, break an old pattern. We are not doomed to repeat them, because all of that's part of our human psyche. And the spiritual truth of who you are is that you belong in your life. You belong in the universe. You belong to yourself, and it is a magical and brilliant and wonderful life. And all the work that we do clears away the veils so that your light can shine as much as someone who's 4 years old can shine running through the enchanted forest. So it is.
So, as the greeters come forward, this is the time that we get a chance to show our support for our beloved community. So we invite you to give generously to the work of CSL Dallas, knowing that as you give, the law of circulation multiplies this gift to you and to so many others. So let's begin by affirming our abundance together. There it is. I treasure my life and joyously anticipate increasing good. I am a blessing to myself and to the We rejoice at the greater possibilities of our future unfoldment. We are grateful CSL Dallas is a blessing to our members and to the world. And so it is. See how good you guys are? You can just put words in where they need to be. You just know how it's supposed to be done. Hey, there's plenty of ways that you can give around here. You can use text giving, you can use Venmo, PayPal, auto tithing, or you can just use the baskets that are being passed around. And you can pick whatever option works best for you. If you'd like to make a cash donation and receive a tax benefit for it, please write your name on the donation envelope in the baskets being passed around. And I need to give you guys an update to the Divine Dining. Janice came up and whispered to me in my ear and told me that as of now she has someone who wants to do 30 people and do karaoke. So it's already starting off to be a great event, so you need to get with that one, okay? Hey, if you're looking to shift your good life to a great life, then you won't want to miss Reverend Karen's workshop happening on February 25th from 1 to 3:30. This will be both in person and online. This workshop is designed to examine what you may be holding on to and why. With so much available to us in the world, what prevents us from taking the next step into our greatness? Learn what it means to step into your best self and meet with others who are looking to do the same. As an added bonus for those who sign up by the 25th, you will also be placed in a drawing in which one person will win $1,500 toward a 2025 Spirit trip. So that's something you guys want to keep in mind, okay? For those of you that are new to CSL Dallas and are ready to get on with your spiritual journey, or you're looking to learn more about the basics of Science Mind, then register for Dr. Peacher's essential course, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. That's beginning February 26th from 7 to 9:30. In this 5-week course, you will explore universal and ancient spiritual practices that are the heart of spiritual growth and awareness, along with practical methods through which you can apply universal principles more consciously in your life. If you're ready to get out of your old habits and start living in a whole new way, or if you need a refresher to get you back on track, this course is designed just for you. Now, finally, we have an opportunity to support Kane. Kane is the grandson of longtime members Randy and Sandy Stem, and this Saturday night on February 16th from 6 to 8 p.m., he's going to be raising as much money as he can for a school trip to go to Japan. Some of you know that Kane is growing into a musician and can sing and is playing his guitar. He has been practicing this music for a year to prepare for this concert. This is what we teach, taking responsibilities for one's life and helping make it happen. So let's be real generous and let the generosity of spirit as it flows through us. He and his mom, Ashley, will be in Pankey Hall today to share more about it and to accept donations for the tickets to the concert. So please make sure that you go and support Kane. This young man's going to Japan, and he needs your help. So now make sure to join our practitioners in support by joining them after the celebration here today in the Peace Room located across the hallway, or online via Zoom. The link will be posted in the live stream chat. And also, please visit our Artist Corner. We have a new installation by Kathy Cromer. She will be with us on the last Sunday of the month. And with her, we get a chance to do our meet the greet artists. So you'll get a chance to meet her then. So with that, thank you for joining us today. And real quick, I just love the privilege of the platform.
Love it that you take the privilege of the platform.
So let me take the privilege of the platform, okay? A couple of things happen in February, okay? One thing is Dr. Tracy Brown's birthday. That's a big deal. That always happens in February. But the other thing that always happens in February is that February is Black History Month, okay? And as you can tell, I'm black, and I also know something about Black history. So real quick, because I am anticipating what they're about to do, and I want to give you the lead into their song, okay?
Before you do that, before you
Go
do that,
ahead.
I'm not sure why the announcement didn't get, I don't know what, it didn't get saved. Easter choir. Easter choir. The last Sunday of March is Easter, and Candy is inviting you to be a part of the Easter choir. We have some really cool music that were picked out. It's going to be a fabulous day. So they're going to start meeting on Sundays right after the celebration, except for next week because of our annual meeting. So please stay or come in the next 2 weeks to join the Easter choir. These lovely, lovely ladies and Candy will make it fabulous. So please do be a part of it. Okay, now you can,
Now
you can start the song.
Choirs, okay? So, for Black History Month, okay? If you guys know much about history, this is really quick, okay? A decade after the Civil War, we got Reconstruction. Reconstruction's in the 1870s. A generation after that, the Supreme Court says, separate but equal. That stuff's okay. We can have stuff be separate. That was 1896. Another generation goes by, and by then, things aren't too cool. It's the roaring 20s, and some folks are roaring, and some folks are having a good time, but for black people, it isn't such a good time. It also happens to be February. And a guy named Dr. Carter G. Woodson decides that black people as well as white people don't know enough about the accomplishments of black Americans. And all of us, since we're all Americans, we need to know that kind of stuff. So what he did, he set up something called Negro History Week, okay? Negro History Week happens to go between the birth dates of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. That's why it was a week, okay? Later on, Congress decided, shoot, a week's not enough. Let's go for a whole month. So we got a whole month. It wasn't about it being the smallest month. It was about that particular week, and that's why he came up with that particular time. Well, in 1921, it was a bad kind of time, okay? But it also happened to be the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. And there was a guy down in Florida. His name was James Weldon Johnson. He was a principal in a little small school. His brother's name was Rosamond Johnson, and they wrote this song. Booker T. Washington, at that time, who happened to be the Martin Luther King of his day, he was a big black guy in all the country, okay? He was coming to that school to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's birthday. And they had a choir of children who first sang this song. Now you know why that song is so important, and now you know where it came from. So it's all of our songs. It came as a celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and an event that Booker T. Washington was going to be attending with young children singing it. So when you sing it and you hear it, remember that history and listen to the words and know that it's not just a black history song, it's an American song. It's a song about all of us, how we get knocked down and we get back up. Good enough? So with that, everybody stand up and we're gonna sing our way on out of here and go to the Super Bowl. Go Chiefs.